I'm 32, and not long ago, I pulled off what might have been the most brutally satisfying truth reveal of all time. What was supposed to be a sweet, joyful gender reveal party for my pregnant fiancée turned into a day where every single lie she'd carefully buried was dragged into the light. 3 years of my life with Jenna, gone up in a pink cloud of betrayal and public humiliation she brought entirely on herself. Jenna's 28, works in marketing, and comes from a family that values appearances more than honesty. Her parents own a successful construction company and carry their name like a badge in our small town. Reputation meant everything to them, which made what happened all the more devastating. For them, not just for me. For months ago, Jenna told me she was pregnant. I hadn't seen it coming, but I wasn't upset. We'd been talking about marriage and kids already, and this just moved the timeline up. She looked excited, if a little tense, and she kept saying things like, "I hope this brings us closer together," and "Promise me, we'll get through anything." I thought it was normal pregnancy anxiety. What I didn't realize then was how much she was trying to manage the narrative before everything fell apart. Almost immediately, she started being secretive. Every doctor appointment was routine and boring, and she always went alone. When I offered to come, she brushed it off, said it wasn't necessary. I chalked it up to nerves. But then there was Marcus, her friend from college. They'd always been close, but now they were inseparable. Coffee dates that ran too long, hushed phone calls in other rooms, messages that she wouldn't let me see. When I finally asked why Marcus was suddenly such a big part of her life, Jenna got defensive, said he was just being supportive, that I was being paranoid, and that I needed to trust her. So I did. 3 weeks ago, that trust shattered. Jenna had left her laptop open on the kitchen table. A message from Marcus popped up. Asterisk, can't wait to meet our daughter. Just wish we didn't have to keep this secret much longer. Asterisk, our daughter, not my daughter. Our daughter. I stared at the screen, frozen. 10 full minutes passed before I could move. When I finally did, I scrolled through their message history, and what I saw made me sick. It wasn't just casual chatting. It was intimate, raw, planning-heavy talk about their relationship, the pregnancy, and the lies they'd been feeding me. These messages went back to before Jenna had even told me she was pregnant. Marcus had known about the baby first. They were already coordinating how to handle me before Jenna sat me down to share the news. There were texts about how to keep Marcus hidden, about what they'd do after the baby was born. The most damning message of all was one Jenna had sent just 2 weeks ago. Asterisk, my parents are planning this big gender reveal party. It's getting hard to pretend this is his baby when we both know the truth. Asterisk, Marcus had replied. Asterisk, just a few more months and we can figure out how to be together properly. Asterisk, I took screenshots of everything. Dozens of them. Page after page of proof. My fiancé was actively lying to me while I was preparing to become a father to a child that wasn't even mine. That night, Jenna came home, and I acted like everything was normal. I needed time. I needed a plan. Over the next few days, I observed her like a stranger. Every suspicious phone call made perfect sense now. Every sweet gesture felt like manipulation. The gender reveal party was that Saturday. Jenna's parents had gone all out. They'd rented a community center, hired a caterer, invited friends, family, even some of their business associates. Over 50 people were expected. Jenna acted nervous the night before, asking repeatedly if I was excited and if I thought both our families would be happy. I gave her smiles and told her what she wanted to hear. Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m., the party kicked off. Everyone was buzzed with excitement, taking pictures, laughing. Jenna's father gave a speech about becoming a grandfather. My parents were glowing. Everyone thought this was going to be the start of something beautiful. The cake sat on a decorated table, hiding either pink or blue inside. Jenna and I were supposed to cut it together. At 2:30, we stood behind the cake, holding hands. Jenna's smile was tight, nervous. I took a breath and stepped forward. I need to share something important before we cut the cake, I said loud enough for the whole room. Jenna turned to me, her face twisting in panic. What are you doing? She whispered. I'm making sure everyone hears the truth before we celebrate. I said calmly. I pulled out a folder of printed screenshots, dozens of texts between Jenna and Marcus. 3 days ago, I found out Jenna and Marcus have been lying to all of us about this pregnancy. Gasps filled the room. Jenna's mouth dropped open. Her mother put a hand to her chest. These are messages where Marcus refers to Asterisk, our daughter. Asterisk messages where Jenna talks about how hard it is to pretend the baby is mine when she knows the truth. Messages about how they plan to keep me in the dark until they figure out what to do. I handed the printed messages to our parents. Jenna started crying, mumbling about how things were taken out of context. Her mother was frozen, flipping through the pages. My parents looked devastated. Marcus, who had been invited as her supportive friend, tried to sneak out, but a few people blocked his way. Jenna's father's face darkened as he read. "Is this true?" he asked her, voice rising. "Have you been lying to us about everything?" "Dad, I can explain." "Explain what?" "That you've been cheating on your fiancé and lie about whose baby this is." My mother was in tears. Jenna's mom was shaking. Friends started quietly leaving. Someone, in the middle of all the chaos, actually cut the cake. Pink filling. A girl, Marcus's daughter. Just like the messages had said. I walked out as the shouting reached its peak. The last thing I heard before I left was Jenna's father yelling at Marcus, "You've got 5 minutes to explain yourself before I call the police." That evening, my phone lit up with voicemails from both families, all asking for answers. But the best message came from my brother, who'd stayed behind. "Dude, Marcus admitted everything. In front of everyone. Jenna's parents are livid. Her dad's talking about cutting her off financially. So yeah, the gender reveal party revealed a lot more than pink or blue. 2 weeks later, the fallout was exactly what Jenna deserved. The day after the party, she called me sobbing, begging to meet. She claimed the messages didn't show the full picture. "All I want," I told her, "is the ring back and your stuff out of my apartment by Friday." She tried to argue, said the affair was over, that she'd chosen me, that we could fix this. "You chose me?" The texts literally say how hard it was to keep pretending the baby was mine. Those messages make it sound worse than it was. Really? Because Marcus calling her our daughter is pretty damn clear. On Tuesday, her mom called me, asking me to reconsider. "Jenna made mistakes, but she thought it was your baby. That has to count for something. She knew it wasn't mine. She and Marcus planned this. But what about the wedding deposits? The baby prep? Cancel it all. I'm not marrying someone pregnant with another man's child." By Wednesday, the story had spread around town. It's a small community, and the drama of that reveal party had witnesses. Everyone was talking. That evening, Jenna's father called me. He sounded drained. "I owe you an apology," he said. "We didn't know she was lying to us. 2, we thought we were welcoming our first grandchild with our future son-in-law, but we were all deceived. I thought I was becoming a father," I said quietly. "We've decided to significantly reduce our financial support. We can't reward this level of dishonesty." Thursday, Marcus called. I answered. "I know you hate me," he said, "but I want you to know the affair started before you and Jenna got engaged. That doesn't make it better. I told her a month ago she should tell you the truth. She was scared of losing the stability you gave her. So you both chose to lie. It got complicated after the engagement, after the party was planned. It just spiraled. Well, now everyone knows the truth." On Friday, Jenna moved out. Marcus came to help, which felt fitting. They could figure out their mess together. Before leaving, she tried one last time. "I know I screwed up, but we had something real. Doesn't that mean anything?" "It was real for me. You just used me while you figured out your situation with Marcus." "That's not fair." "What's not fair is lie about paternity, letting both our families invest in a lie, and planning a wedding around it." Saturday, I learned her parents had canceled the baby shower and pulled most of their financial support. They were still covering basic medical care, but no nursery, no gear, no extras. They felt humiliated. Some of their business relationships had taken a hit from the fallout of that party. Marcus wasn't prepared for what came next. supporting a pregnant girlfriend without her family's money. 6 weeks later, everyone was adjusting to the new normal. Jenna and Marcus tried to make a real relationship work. It lasted 3 weeks. A mutual friend told me Marcus had been drawn to the secrecy, the thrill, not the reality. Now that it was just life, he couldn't stand it. Jenna moved back in with her parents, but their support was limited. 2 weeks ago, Jenna's sister said she was asking if I'd be willing to help with baby expenses since I'd been part of the journey. I replied to her sister, "That baby is Marcus's responsibility. I was never actually part of the pregnancy, only the deception. Last week, the baby was born, a healthy little girl. Marcus was at the hospital. They're co-parenting, but they're not together. Jenna's parents are helping as much as they can, but it's nothing like what they planned when they thought I was a father." Yesterday, I heard Jenna ask mutual friends if I'd meet for coffee to discuss co-parenting, which is frankly insane. I'm not the father. I was never the father, just a mark. For months have passed since that party, and everything is settled. Jenna's adjusting to single motherhood. Marcus floats in and out of the picture. Most of her friends have moved on, though some feel burned by her lies. Financially, she's living a more modest life. No lavish support, no fiancé, no big future plans. 3 months ago, I started dating someone new. She knows the whole story and said the perfect thing. Anyone who lies about paternity while planning a wedding isn't someone you build a life with. This relationship is built on honesty. No secrets, no wondering. Last month, Jenna sent a birth announcement with a note. Asterisk, I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I wanted you to know she's healthy. I'll regret lying to you for the rest of my life. Asterisk. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. That gender reveal party wasn't a revenge plot. I found the truth 3 days before, and when I realized Jenna intended to keep lying in front of everyone we loved, I made the decision. If she wasn't going to stop the charade, I would. And I did. Because sometimes the most powerful response to betrayal is simply putting the truth where everyone can see it, and letting the consequences fall exactly where they belong.